guys. We are finally getting some weather here in Tucson. It is raining today and supposed to rain tomorrow possibly. I'm actually heading over to Mount Lemmon right now. I'm going to try to get up there and get in the snow if there is any. It's supposed to snow up there, I'm assuming. All right, so while I'm doing this drive up to Mount Lemmon, I'm going to take the time to actually dive into some of the issues that come up the most in questions about the Crosstrek on the channel. Probably the biggest things that I have questions about are, number one, how is the CVT? Number two, is there enough power to do everyday driving and to merge and all those kind of things? And then number three is, have I had any issues with oil loss? Because Subaru had some issues with that over the last few years. I know if you've been with the channel for a long time, throughout various videos we've talked about this, but I haven't spent that much time on it lately. I'm not the end-all be-all expert on Subaru. I'm only going to share my experience. As most of you know, I had a 2014 and I have this car, and I had a 2011 WRX STI. I've had Subarus for a long time, and currently my wife has a 17 WRX, so we're a huge Subaru family now. So let's start with, does the car have enough power? And in 2018, if you're not familiar, the Crosstrek got a total of 4 whopping more horsepower, so I think it's at 152 now. But one of the big things that it did get is fuel injection, direct fuel injection. Those things combined with the way they reprogrammed the CVT has really made this car feel more powerful and to be more responsive, and definitely better than the way the 14 felt. I'm not saying it's a race car, I'm not saying it's fast, but it is definitely better overall than the 14, and I would say it's pretty significant. I think if anybody that's owned an older Crosstrek or have at least driven one and then drives the 18, that there is a difference. And there is the whole break-in phenomenon that's been true with all of my Subarus, that after you've driven it for 500, 600 or 1,000 miles, it breaks in and it definitely feels better. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if the car learns how you drive, or you know, it's just improved shifting. Whatever it is, there's definitely a change. So whether you're talking about driving a Crosstrek as a daily driver, in traffic in the city, merging, passing on the freeway, maintaining 75 miles an hour on the freeway, passing people on the freeway above 75 miles an hour, there's absolutely no issues there. I can't honestly think of a situation, especially with the 18, where I could not do what I wanted to do with this car. And in fact, you know, our speed limit around my house is 40 or 45, and when you get on the car at 40, 45 miles an hour to pass, it feels, and I hate to use the word quick, but it feels great. There's no issue. It's not a sports car, but it will go and get out of the way, and you can get around people with no problem whatsoever. In my personal opinion, there is no issue whatsoever with power with this car. Again, if you're somebody that's looking for a sports car that's fun to drive, that's exciting, that's, you know, kind of does everything and is a thrilling car to drive, the Crosstrek's probably not the right car for you. But if you want something that's, you know, does what it needs to do and is just a great little car, it's comfortable and quiet and handles good, it's fantastic. I don't know that you can beat it for everything that it's capable of. So let's talk CVT. Again, I had a 2014, and the biggest problem I had with the CVT with the 2014 was when you went from reverse to drive, there was a hesitation. Like, you put it in drive and you'd have to wait before you could accelerate. So you would not want to use the car if you're robbing a bank, because you would have gotten caught. This car does not have that at all. There is no hesitation from reverse to drive. The CVT 99% of the time shifts very well. There are occasionally times, and I've had people complain, or not complain, or tell me about their experience with their CVT at low speeds. It's almost like it's searching for a gear and it can't find specifically what it wants to do. And I have experienced that a little bit, but it's been a long time since I felt it. And like the engine breaking in, I think the CVT gets better the more you drive it. I could be insane and that may not be true, but for me, that's what it has felt like with both of my Crosstreks. So as far as the CVT goes, in my opinion, it feels like an automatic. When I first got the 14, I was very concerned because I had read a lot of things about CVTs and how they don't shift and they just feel like this like rubber band effect. And this feels like an automatic to me. This CVT feels as much like an automatic as anything I've driven in the last, I don't know, 20 years, 15 years. I don't have a problem with the CVT. I enjoy it. I think it's very easy to drive off road. I like the fact that there are paddle shifters and that there's a manual mode. And I think I've mentioned it in the past that from driving from Tucson up to Flagstaff, which is basically going from about 2,500 feet to 7,600 feet up in Flag, there's some pretty significant grades that you have to drive on the freeway. So you're maintaining 75 miles an hour and going up a 6-7% grade. In that situation, I would use the paddle shifters to keep the RPMs up so that you could keep your speed up and even pass and do things that you need to do. And it just makes it fun sometimes if you want to drive more aggressively and goof around. So the final thing I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about is oil consumption issues. And I know that Subaru has had problems with that over the years. In 43,000 miles with my 2014 Crosstrek, I never had any oil consumption issues. In my 2011 STI, I never had any oil consumption issues. And so far with this Crosstrek, I'm only at 3,188 miles. I've had 0 oil consumption issues as well. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I think it does, but so far I have not had that problem, nor have I ever had the problem. I think, like a lot of things that happen online with specific vehicles, people come, when they have the issue, they come to complain about it or to talk about it and to find out about it. So I think usually things like that are kind of a little more overblown than the real issue. I don't know the numbers on it, so I could be totally wrong. Maybe it happens to thousands and thousands of Subaru cars, but it's never been an issue for me. And if anything changes with that, I obviously will let you know as we continue to make updates on the car. So I hope that helps. I know, again, we've talked a little bit about this in other videos, but I just kind of wanted to talk about the CVT, the power of the car, and this oil consumption issue. I do get a lot of questions about those things. So I hope that helps, guys. If you have any other questions, please, I'll do my best to answer it. And if I don't know it, I'll get with my buddy at Subaru and or research it and let you know whatever I find out. So thank you for watching. Hope you had a great day today, and we'll talk to you next time. Well, we are at 8,000 feet and it is not snowing. So I don't think we're gonna get snow.